In the beginning, we will have Bone Shatter, Rolling Slam, we can use Infernal Cry, Shield Charge for mobility, and Perfect Strike to deal with big bosses or rare mobs. Bone Shatter says attack enemies with a melee strike. The strike will cause a heavy stun on enemies that are primed for stun. Upon causing heavy stun, it will also create a shockwave, dealing a large amount of damage in an area. And this is the best skill for clearing through the warrior gameplay. And this one we will always have to optimize for, that we prime for stun with everything else. And we can do that with Rolling Slam. Shield Charge also works sometimes. Otherwise, we can just use the normal Mace Strike, one-handed or two-handed. And we just have to find out how we can, in the best way, prime for stun. So I use here the one hand and shield, and I will hit him once, and there we see the symbol, prime for stun. And then I right-click, and everything around will get bone shattered. And that is exactly what we want to do. So I have my Mace Strike here, increased physical damage, 25% with brutality, and you can also put in overpower, for example, if you need more stun build-up. So this one, overpower, you can always swap around wherever you need it. For example, I have it on my Mace Strike here. Mace Strike in the one hand, so one option would be having one hand and shield. This one also gives you the shield charge, which adds some mobility, so I actually like to having one hand and shield in the beginning, and a two-hand mace in the off or in the second weapon set, just to be able to deal more damage with Bone Shatter. And what I do here is, for example, I use Mace Strike, the number one Mace Strike here with one hand, and I weapon swap before using the Bone Shatter just by going in here and clicking weapon set 2 here. So then he swaps to the two-handed maul and then immediately Bone Shatters with the second, with the two-handed weapon. And I have Bone Shatter with magnified effect and impact shockwave. These will just increase the area of effect and give an aftershock when we heavy stun someone with this one. I have Stomping Ground with a shield charge here, which is also quite nice because it also triggers a shockwave. For our bossing, we will use the Infernal Cry here. Infernal Cry empowers our next attack, and important is that we will stand next to an enemy, so power of enemies in range has to be greater than per 5 power of enemies we gain 25% damage as fire. So it means if you stand next to an enemy and you use the Infernal Cry, then it will empower your next attack. So bosses have, I think, around 20, which means you get 100% gain fire damage, which is very massive. And then after you empower next to the boss, you will Perfect Strike. Perfect Strike, you will have to time perfectly. And we put in here Window of Opportunity, which decreases the timing window, but increases the damage we deal. So another 35% more damage with perfect timing. I also went with Martial Tempo here so that we have more attack speed. More attack speed means more attacks, more damage. And I also went with Fire Infusion, 25% extra fire damage. So in this setup, you want to use Infernal Cry and then Perfect Strike the enemy. And it will deal quite a bit of damage here if you time it correctly. So that's the Infernal Cry into Perfect Strike. Let's go in with the passives really quickly. So in the beginning, I usually like to go for more damage. So we go this route here, more damage, more damage. Then here, more melee damage, strength. I like to go down here for increased armor on the equipped body shield, on the body armor. Then going up down here for more damage. And then usually I take this route and go down here for increased two-handed damage. Sometimes I like to take this one, sometimes not. It kind of depends. 5 reduced attack speed is really noticeable. And I want to increase attack speed as much as possible. So I really like going down here to take this node cluster, which increases your attack speed quite a bit. It helps a lot. So this one, I usually just go for a little bit later after this one and this one here. I go up here. This is the next target, resolute technique. Your hits can't be evaded, but never deal critical hits. So we just don't go for critical hits, but then we always hit our hits. This is really, really nice. We also here get our first jewel socket, and the jewels, I mean, there's gonna be quite nice jewels here, but obviously increasing melee damage is nice. Increasing damage with maces is nice. You can also go for war cries that increase recovery rate. Yeah, pretty much whatever you like. Increased area of effect is also very nice because it will increase your bone shatter quite nicely. Later on, we will get the leap slam at level 22. This will also alter our rotation a little bit because we can get it even better set up. And for example, we can put in overpower in the leap slam, which will increase the stun buildup by 50%. And at some point, we are gonna get Brink. This is a level 2 support gem, so this one we can only get when we get the first level 2 support gem, but this is really game changer because with this one we cannot reach 100% stun, and that's how we can only prime for stun without being able to kill them immediately. So after we got the leap slam, we can always jump in like this, and then we already, in this case, have 3 guys primed for stun, and then I could already use the bone shatter again. And let's go in, try it again. Let's bone shatter everything. This is how it looks. We leap slam into bone shatter, and this is gonna be our skill rotation basically until the end of the game. This is just really, really amazing, and that's exactly what we're gonna play. Then the Ascendancies, you can go either way, and soon you will be able to respec the Ascendancies as well. The Titan has Earthbreaker, which will give you a 25% chance for slam skills causing aftershocks, increasing the area of effect of slam skills. Then you have increased strength, increased inventory, increased effect of small passive skills, so 50% more effect of passive skills. And in this route, you would have more stun buildup and crushing blows for your hits. You could also go for even more damage against heavy stunned enemies. So this is the Titan. Then the Smith of Kitava has a very nice special. It can boost cold and lightning resistance, 50% of the value of fire resistance. So just by boosting a fire res will also boost your cold and lightning res. So you can max out all resistances quite easy. You gain 15% fire res here and there, so have 30 more. Modifiers to max fire res also grant maximum cold and lightning res. So also increasing your max res to around 90 for all elements should be quite easy on the Smith of Kitava, making this very tanky. And down here, you can get a special armor. You have to wear a normal body armor, so it can be socketed, it can be, it just can't be magic, rare, or unique. And it can be socketed, it can be improved, and you can choose your points what you want here. So in this example, they took 20% increased strength, they took 5% increased maximum fire res, grants 25% of physical damage from hits taken as fire damage. And you know, as we have 90% max fire res, this will be quite easily mitigated. So also mitigating a lot of physical damage. And then body armor grants regenerate 5% of maximum life per second. So the Smith of Kitava is defensively very strong, also very good for solo self-found, because you just need a normal body armor and you don't need to get a very good unique or rare one. The Warbringer, so the class that I took, it can get 40% base block chance, more block chance, and also here less block chance, but can block damage from all hits while shield is not raised. So this means you could actually block hits that also can are used by bosses. So block says some skills used by bosses cannot be blocked, and these now can also be blocked with this turtle charm. Then down here you would get Warcries explodes corpses, dealing 25% life as physical damage. So that's a bit like Detonate Dead. It just means you can explode all the corpses lying around. So if there's 5-6 corpses lying around, you can just explode them and just instantly killing everything around you once again without using the Bone Shatter. And then you have Ignore Warcry cooldowns on Great Wolf's Howl. Also downside on this, you can improve your totems. You can use Jade, which kind of gives you guard, and you could go for break armor, 10% of the hit damage dealt, and up here you can break enemy armor to below 0. So this route could also gain some value from armor break. And this is pretty much how you can get through the whole of the campaign. And I can only recommend you to get also a kind of defensive setup. I actually went with two-handed mace and shield here. This one here gives me 4% recover of my maximum life when I block, which is actually quite nice. The Thrill Steel helmet gives me onslaught, which is also recommended. You get more movement speed. So movement speed is just super awesome because you just have to go through so many maps, and then movement speed really helps. So getting movement speed here and on the helmet is super useful. But with this shield and enough nodes that give me block chance, like these ones, this one here, and these ones here, you can get 75% block chance. This helps a lot. And with this one, you could also actually block. You could also block attacks from bosses, but just getting 75 block is really nice for your, just sustaining more damage from enemies. But you need the Giant's Blood to be able to do this. And for this will triple the attribute requirements of two-handed weapons. So this has 420 strength requirement. I have 490 because I have around 30 strength on every item I could get pretty much. I have these nodes down here which give me more strength, a lot of strength down the road everywhere, and strength wherever you can get it basically. And then I pretty much went for Rage. So my Rage will give me around 50% bonus damage. So with Berserk Spirit Gem, this will increase the effect of Rage by 47%. Then I have some rage effects down here. So my rage is lost a little bit slower. I have gained 3 rage when hit by an enemy. And these nodes down here give me gain 1 rage on melee hit. I also have a rage generation on the Leap Slam. Supported skill grants rage 3. I have on Infernal Cry, supported skill grant 4 rage per 5 power of counted enemies in range. So with all of these nodes, and I think I have one more here. No. But yeah, with these nodes, you will get, you can have 34% rage all the time, which will grant you 50% more damage. So this is actually really nice to boost your damage even further. And otherwise, you could go for Bleed, you could go for Ignite to deal more single target damage. So I went for maximum block, and then the two-handed in the one hand, so to speak. And otherwise, I went for Mace Strike, Earth Shatter, Bone Shatter, and then Hammer of the Gods, Seismic Cry, Infernal Cry, Shield Charge, and Leap Slam. And that leaves me with the gems. I quite like to use the Mace Strike, actually. I have Brutality, Martial Tempo, Soul Thief for mana stealing, and Close Combat, just increasing the damage here. I have Overwhelming Presence, so that enemies in my presence are more easily stunned, which also increases my life regain with Cannibalism and Vitality. My Bone Shatter still has Magnified Effect and Reach, so this one also increases the area, and 80% less accuracy doesn't matter because in the passive tree we are going for Resolute Technique, which will mean you always hit, but you can't critical hit. And we also have Impact Shockwave still in the Bone Shatter. This one actually Make sure that we can clear the full screen most of the times when we have multiple enemies that are primed for stun. Then we have shield charge. I have just physical mastery, ingenuity for faster recast, and then stomping ground, so it triggers a shockwave when you arrive. Infernal Cry still has premeditation, raging cry, enraged war cry, seismic war cry I just use in between to sometimes empower an additional aftershock. So this one is especially good in combination with Hammer of the Gods. And the Hammer of the Gods I use Fist of War, then Fire Infusion to infuse it with more fire damage, and Rage Forge to, if I have 10 rage, consume it and deal 35% more damage. The Leap Slam still has Overpower in it, so it will increase the stun buildup by 50%, and Brink, which will make sure that it can't stun, so it will always prime for stun but not stun, and also Rage, 3 rage on melee hit, so just increasing my rage generation. Earth Shatter is also really nice with Upheaval, because then we get 3 fissures that we can explode with the War Cries, and with Heft and Font of Rage. Also Font of Rage gives us another rage generation, but Heft just increases his physical damage. And I have Berserk and Overwhelming Presence as my spirit gems. And all in all, the warrior is really nice, and you have to make sure that you balance your offense and defense a little bit. So I also put in defensive reflexes on my allocated amulet slot here. So this one gives another 12% block chance here. But otherwise, I really recommend to go down here for the increased attack speed. I recommend these nodes here, increased area of attack and attack damage. Then this one is also very nice, increased armor from the body armor. I went up down here, break armor and increased area of effect of attacks. I also went down here for increased skill speed. Then block chance again, more armor and stun threshold. I went this way to gain more area of effect again. Then these ones here for strength and rage regeneration. Then down here to once again increase the area of effect of aftershocks and attacks. Down here for block, here for rage regeneration, here for my resolute technique. Down here for stun threshold and ailment threshold. And then down here for more strength and the giant's blood. And down south, I actually went here to gain 1% increased damage per 1 chance block. So that is 75% more damage, not more damage, it's just increased damage, but it's one node with 75% increased damage. So that is very nice. And then we go down here, we will increase our movement speed once again, have a dual slot down here. And down here we get more strength and then more attributes. We could also go for this one if we needed more strength requirement later on. And then here we once again take more attack speed, and down on this side more increased area of attack, the attack area damage, and increased area of effect for attacks. So all in all, we try to go for as much area of effect as possible, attack speed as much as possible, max block chance, and then a little bit of life steal, mana steal here and there. And yeah, I have not managed to get my life up any significantly because I have just so many slots where I don't have a lot of HP, because I focused on all the other things first. So I wanted to increase my resistances to max, I wanted to increase my block to max, increase my armor as well, so I have a lot of physical resistances. And yeah, I wanted to get this shield as well to get as much recover of life as possible. But yeah, those are the corner points of the build right now, and it works really nicely. And at some point I want to get 2 two-handed maces in the second weapon slot. At the moment I don't use anything in this second weapon slot, but I do want to build it up like this at some point, that I will go max bleed and max here with fire damage and ignite damage, one of the other, depending on what I want to build. But I will want to have 2 two-handed maces there, and then go for single target damage even more. Right now I'm just built for mapping as fast as possible, and this works really nice. And yeah, right now I'm working T15 maps, T16 maps if I can find them. This build has been really nice, and yeah, I can only recommend you going for warrior. It is at a very good place right now. It's not completely overpowered. I feel like you have to balance defense and offense very nicely so that you actually come out on top. You have to kill enemies quickly. You have to exactly try to time all your attacks right so you don't get killed off too easily. But yeah, at the moment, warriors are super fun to play. I don't think they will nerf warriors in the future. I think this will be a very viable class in the patches to come. And yeah, will be interesting to see where it goes from here. Thank you guys for tuning in. Let me know what you think. What are you playing? What are you interested in? If you need help, comment on these videos. I will reply as fast as I can. And yeah, see you guys next time. Thank you guys for tuning in. Good luck. Bye bye.